team of 40 students at UW-Whitewater. We're a huge part of the media arts and game development major on campus, and we are basically just a journalism website. We cover video game media, news, previews, reviews, all that good stuff. There's a lot of opportunities because we have a wide variety of teams that work on Game Zombie. We have audio, a web development team, social media optimization, a 2D team, a video editing team, writing, production, and motion graphics.
And talent.
And talent, of course. How could I forget? So we're just going to show you a couple videos of what we do. Well, just one for now, one later.
I'm here with Jenna, Nicole, Caitlin. A few video game questions for me. Are you ready? Who is Mario's brother? Alright, the answer we're looking for is Mallory. Pikachu from Pokemon. He's got a catchphrase that he says all the time. You know what it is? What is his catchphrase? Peekaboo, Pikachu, yes. Alright, it's gotta catch them all. He says it all the time. What game is Lara Croft from?
Call of Duty?
Raider. Who is the main character from the Legend of Zelda video game series?
Zelda. I don't know. I have no idea.
Legend of Zelda? Zelda. How many Pokemon were there originally?
Over 100.
100.
Technical issues, apparently.
Well, they're getting sued, so you'll have to find out on your own. This is a very professional panel, excuse us, sorry.
My name is Max Mallory. I'm an assistant producer. How would you guys introduce yourselves?
Alright, I'm Alec Frey. I'm the producer of Game Zombie right now. I mostly just get in touch with developers for us and get us on trips to conventions and set things up and keep everything organized and keep in touch with my team and make sure all the teams are communicating, things like that. I try and hopefully make everything run smoothly. So, that's my job.
My name is Jake Magee. I'm a writer for Game Zombie. I joined last October. I'm a senior journalism major. My job is just to write content, pretty much a lot of editorials, features, opinions, sometimes news. That's what I do.
I'm Andrew Matt. I'm the co-video producer for Game Zombie TV. I help with filming and manage a team of 9 video editors, and I help with scheduling for interviews. I'll personally go to conventions.
I'm Andy Heck. I've been with Game Zombie for a couple of years now, and I've done video editing, and currently I'm the co-video producer, and I work a lot with the social media team as well.
I'm Jeff Konetzki. I'm just the pretty face of Game Zombie. I go and interview people and run shows that are really great.
All right. We're going to ask you guys a few questions just about what it's like in Game Zombie. Our first one is, what is the coolest opportunity that this has created for any of you?
All right, I'll go first. For me, it's like we travel to conventions a lot. We try and take the opportunity like at least once a year to send people off to like PAX or CES or GDC or something like that. And meeting people and getting the opportunity to see things on a professional level. Like I'm actually a game design, like a developer. I do like indie games and things like that on my own time, and that's actually what I'm going to school for. But I produce Game Zombie on the side because I'm extremely motivated to keeping it successful and keeping the opportunities alive for everybody. And so like the exciting thing for me is seeing like things happen that actually show the progress of the entire like event, of the opportunity for the other students. So going to these conventions, causing events on campus, things like that is just that's the best part of the whole thing. So.
I agree. I'm just gonna throw in there, like the thing that's really cool about going to all these conventions, like to really meet people that I look up to. Like we've got an interview with Ken Levine, who's the founder of Irrational Games, creator of Bioshock Infinite and the original Bioshock. I've met Kim Swift, who created Portal, Randy Pitchford, Tim Schafer, like lots of really big figures in the industry, and it's good to meet them and hang out with them, and that's like an incredibly cool opportunity.
Yeah, we're going to show our Ken Levine interview from this year's PAX East, which was a lot more news-based than our last video, but still great because it still has Jeff in it.
Hey guys, Jeff with Game Zombie TV. I'm here with Ken Levine, head of Irrational Games, developer of Bioshock Infinite, among many others. And I guess with Bioshock Infinite coming out so recently, why should people go out and play it?
Well, we talked, I think, a lot about the game. In general, what's cool about it for us, it's sort of the next stop along the way of what Irrational's always been trying to do, which is to
coming out so recently. Why should people go out and play it?
Well, we talked, I think, a lot about the game. In general, what's cool about it for us, it's sort of the next stop along the way of what Irrational's always been trying to do, which is to bring the player, to make the player a participant in the narrative of a game rather than an observer of the game. I think what's really cool about the game is you really slide into Booker's skin and you explore this world not as we want you to, but as the gamer wants to. And we give you this companion, Elizabeth, to do it with. You don't have to protect, you don't have to take care of. She's your partner, not your kid. And it was really hard to get right, but I think it's something really unique in games too.
Sure, and then the theme throughout your game has always been like strong emotional bonds with a certain character or characters or even a city. What is it that you guys do that makes it sets you guys apart so much from other games?
I think we step back and we say, the gaming experience can be more about just the shooting and the big moments, that those little human emotions, like the big dad and little sister, that sort of father-daughter kind of sense of relationship, that connection to that character. The reason he's iconic is not because he attacks you with the drill, though the drill is cool. It's because you see him walking around with the little sister, and you sense you have an empathy with him. And Elizabeth is just that in spades, and that empathy. Back to our first game when the hybrids attack you and they warned you about themselves. So they had a sense of their own destruction, their own decay. I always wanted to make sure that the characters, even the villains, feel like they have a role in the world.
Absolutely, and you guys completely succeed. You've made some of the most iconic characters in anything. I mean, think of Bioshock, and now coming with Bioshock Infinite, you're introducing Elizabeth. Now we just watched a panel where you kind of go through it. I mean, can you shortly sum up what it is about Elizabeth that makes her so special?
She's a character who has sort of this great arc throughout the game, and you really watch her go from almost a sheltered person who's trapped in this tower to a woman really coming into her own sense of herself and her power that she has. But she's also your partner in the experience, and dynamically she's exploring the world, she's interacting with things, she's helping you out in combat, she's tossing you supplies, she's healing you, she's doing all this amazing stuff, but at the same time feeling like a person.
This has been Jeff Konetzki with Ken Levine, head of Irrational Games. Thank you so much for the interview. It's a real pleasure.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys for watching. See you later.
All right, so with all these different teams creating content, what's a typical day like at GZ?
Okay, so our main meetings that we do every week are on Monday nights, and we get together. That's the one time we're trying to produce content all the time, like every day. People are working on this, but Monday nights is the one time we can get together with students who all have busy schedules. So a main meeting is like we all come in and meet in the room. There's usually a bunch of announcements that I make and a few other members make. And it's like, this team needs to get this done. We're holding a tournament on campus on this day. Make sure you tell your friends about it. Make sure you promote it on your Facebooks and your Twitters and everything like that. And this, and this. And we make all our announcements. And then we all just get to work. And I usually walk around and start seeing what needs to be done, what people need to do, what people need to communicate with other people, things like that. we just try and like get in touch with each other and make sure that it all is like still moving smoothly. And it's great because during the time that we're all together in the same room, we can usually like get things done way faster. Because people can meet with other people. If video needs an asset, they can go to the 2D team and say, hey, can you make this for us? And they can get it done, get it to them really quickly, ideally. And ideally, that's usually a typical day. We just keep working for usually about 2.5 hours, and then we sum up the class with some more announcements, and everybody goes. But we have a lot of fun throughout the entire event. Like every day, we have a lot of fun. We can joke around together and get a lot of stuff done. It's a really cool experience because most of the people, everybody's motivated to like work on this and stuff like that.
So instead of just referring people to UW Whitewater, how do you guys suggest that other colleges start up things like Game Zombie or create opportunities?
Well, I think you just need to go out there and ask. I mean, I've sent emails out to people and just said, hey, I want to review your game. Like, Monaco's coming out this Wednesday, if you guys heard about that, Pocket Watch games. And I just I emailed the guy and said, hey, I'd like to review your game. So he sent it to me. I mean, it's just that easy. You just gotta like ask people. I mean, just don't be afraid to ask people. That's my biggest thing I would say to you guys. Just, if you want to cover something, cover it. Just ask.
Yeah, it's not too hard to like set up clubs at schools and whatnot. And regarding this, I mean, it's a really great opportunity. So I definitely recommend trying to set up either a club or an organization or something where you can get together and do this sort of thing. Because I mean, as soon as you attach like a name to something, people are going to be a lot more willing to like, oh yeah, sure, you can review my game. And like once you start getting like some traffic, you can go to these sort of events. And if you're sponsored by your school, you can ask for funding. They can cover some of the costs to get there. And it's a really great opportunity. And I wouldn't pass it up if you're interested in the field. Yeah, exactly.
So all 5 of you have been to at least one of the conventions that we've covered for Game Zombie. So at these conventions, how do you guys act as professionals, everyone else that's there?
I guess I'll start. As a writer, what I did is I went to my first convention, which was PAX East, just a few weeks ago, and I had never been to one, and it was kind of overwhelming at first because it's like a 8-hour day. No, more than that, it's like 10, and you're walking the show floor and you get tired. But what I did is I actually walked to every single booth I could get, and I talked to people. I tried getting content, and there was a lot of times I was working with this guy, and we would be walking the floor, and I'd be like, "Man, let's go back and write." And he's like, "No, we gotta get more content." So it's kind of it was a hard balance. When I wasn't getting content, I was writing content, and it was just as an amateur trying to do this professionally, I think I did a good job because it was just important to have that drive. The most important thing, I think, if you guys want to do something like this, which I think anyone can and should if you want to be a developer or a journalist or a producer or whatever, the most important thing is to have a passion for it. And if you go to a convention, you got to have a passion to get things done. You can't, I mean, as fun as it is to sit back and enjoy the stuff, it's also important to get out there, meet people, get interviews, get stuff to write about, network essentially, and it pays off in the end. It's hard work, but it pays off. So.
Yeah, it's like that's the best part. It's like incredibly stressful during the entire time that you're doing it, but it's a good stress. Like there's people have mentioned this all throughout this summit actually, that like there's a difference between a good stress and a bad stress, and you need to put yourself in a situation where you're getting good stress. Like the entire time we were at PAX, we were running around trying to get articles and trying to meet people and things like that, and like he wanted to write, and I wanted him to write, but you had what, like 23 articles that you were like posting in a matter of a couple of days, and he was writing all of them, and we were working really hard, and it was extremely exciting because we were like networking with people and trying to stay professional and meet these people and put ourselves out there as someone who we're as big as IGN type of thing, possibly. That's how we have to act. So, and that's how we get treated if we act that way. So that's an important thing. But.
All right, this next question is for Jeff. As an interviewer, how do you approach interviews at conventions with these big names?
It really depends how knowledgeable I am about the game. Because if I know a lot about the game coming in, then I'll chat with the person that we're going to be interviewing, and I'll basically be able to come up with questions like that. But if I'm unfamiliar with the game or it's something new, then I'll probably sit around, play the game for a little while, and then get a good feel for it and come up with questions like that. But I mean, a lot of these people are incredibly approachable. Like Ken Levine, he was just kind of sitting down, like off to the side. He didn't have a booth set up, but like he just did a panel, and we just kind of went up to him like, "Hey, I really like your games and stuff. Can we do a short interview?" And oh yeah, sure. And like, he's not uptight or anything. The first thing he said was like, is your first question gonna be, Ken Levine, why are you such an asshole? Like, he's just that comfortable with people, and like, that's how a lot of people are. They're not like jerks, they're not mean to you. It's really nice and a comfortable environment, so.
Yeah, and a lot of us on the panel here have also attempted to do, like, we've all done talent roles at some point. They don't always go all that well. I found that my skills in interviewing are not up to par necessarily.
But it's good to try. It's important, like as a writer, I want to do more things on camera. I want to do more things in producing. And all that stuff helps construct me as a more well-rounded person. And no matter what you go into in this industry, that's something that employers are going to look at and appreciate.
Right, that's important. That's part of like what I do as a producer. Is like when I walk around and helping all the groups, I need to be well-rounded. Like I have to know how to do everything that all the groups are doing. I'm obviously not an expert at all of the roles, but I can video edit, and I do post articles, and I work alongside a lot of the other teams and do things with them. And I actually started on the 2D team when I was in Game Zombie, and I worked my way up. But I have to be like a jack of all trades, and it's actually good for anybody to be a jack of all trades. Like you should be a master of one or two things ideally, but you know, that's really important.
So with a completely student-run org, everyone has really busy schedules and really packed events and stuff they have to take care of. So how do you guys keep things organized in GZ?
I'll start that. Okay. Keeping things organized, it can get extremely rough.
Really difficult.
Extremely difficult, yeah. A lot of people, being that it's a class, it can be an issue because a lot of people, will miss class or they won't show up for a week, or some people are in it just for the credits. That's the unfortunate part of having it as a class. Some people are just in it for the credits and they're not truly motivated. But the problem is, as an org, you can't, as like a student org, you can't motivate people. You can't force people to do things because as a class, you can tell people, oh, your grade's gonna do poorly if you don't start to pick up your work. But in an org, you can't do that. But ideally, in an org, the few people that you do get to join and do get to stay, and our core members are going to be much more passionate and be more willing to work on the final product or what you guys are working on. So,
yeah. And Game Zombie, I mean, for some people, like you said, it's not their #1 priority. So, I mean, they've got things going on. They've got other orgs that they're in. They've got sports. They've got whatever going on, classes, homework. But everyone is still generally willing to find time to actually do what they're required to do. And if they're not, then we're going to let them know. And that's how we keep things organized. Because if people don't perform, then what's the point?
Yeah, and it's definitely a multi-person job keeping things organized. Like we have like leads and teams and producers and people that all have like roles. There's a bit of a hierarchy in the system, and it's ideal that like the leads will communicate if things need to happen between teams, and that the producers will communicate to leads if things aren't happening within their team that needs to happen, and things like that. So that's usually the route that we take.
Yeah, like for the video team, we have 2 leads for me and Andy because it's really hard to keep track of all of that. Like we shot something like 20 interviews at that, right? And like we don't have all of them out yet because it's a school thing, and I have to give videos to other people to do. Like in that week, I cranked out like 6 videos by myself within like 3 days because I wanted to be out time. Like you want to see stuff from past the day it happens because that's my job to get things, guys. But it's rough when I have like someone who's a video editor who's like doing really good content that like I shot and they're working on it and it takes them like 4 weeks to get it out. That's like something unfortunate, but like we try to keep on everyone, and I'll sit down with people and work with them. I think I'm a better video editor because of that experience, but it's tough to manage that.
All right, we got a question for Jake here. As a writer, how do you choose what's good content to put up and what's going to get views, what's going to get popular?
Yeah, there's, it's anyone can be a writer. It's a skill that everyone needs, no matter what you go into in life. And I'm aspiring to be a games journalist, and that's why I'm involved with Game Zombie. But what's important to write about is not necessarily like my favorite Easter eggs or top 10 soundtracks and lists and stuff like that. But it's important to know the industry you're talking about and talk about niche things. Like perhaps someone, a developer on Twitter says something they shouldn't have. That's a story right there. That's something that people are going to want to know and read about. Things that are current, relevant, and interesting is what people want to read. I mean, everyone's going to talk about impressions from, let's say, Bioshock when it comes out. Everyone's going to have a story on that. As great as it is to write that, which you can, sure, go ahead. It's important to find niche things, relevant things, things that you can put your own unique opinion or twist on, and that's what's going to get you views and get your stuff out there. So,
Also, controversy. It's good for views.
oh yeah, controversy is great. If
We learned that the hard way.
If you can write something that's respectful but still makes people riled up, you're gonna get views.
We had an article go up that was somewhat scathing to an event that we went to, and it like quadrupled our views on our site that day.
I think it's our most viewed article.
Yeah, it like quadrupled our views on our site that day, which it was bad press, but I mean, in that situation, like,
It's good press.
Yeah, exactly.
Any press is good press,
Any press is good press,
especially when you're starting out.
Yeah, especially when you're starting out. So yeah, I mean, but it was an experience. It's not necessarily, I mean, any press isn't always good press, obviously, but like,
It's a learning opportunity.
it's a learning opportunity, and we're students, and like, obviously, we don't expect to be as big as like IGN or be as big as like some, Kotaku or Polygon or whatever. But learning experiences are what we're in it for, obviously, because there's absolutely no way, like, we don't pay our members, we don't have people committed 40 hours a week to be working on this. There's absolutely no way that we can compete with someone in the big industry. So learning opportunity is what we're in it for. And
Yeah, but regardless, we still do get the experience, though.
absolutely.
That's the important thing for us.
Yeah, exactly.
The next question we have is for Andy. So I know a couple of you guys are graduating soon, and this is a really competitive field. So if you guys aren't going to be able to get jobs right out of college, what are your other options?
So, I mean, my main focus is doing like the videography and video editing, and in case you aren't noticing, this isn't really a big mecca for that or any of the, gaming or anything like in our area, but one thing I've learned is that if you can't find a job doing what you love to do it anyways, because you never know who is going to see what you're producing or who's going to really enjoy what you do. Because if you enjoy what you do, companies might pick up on it and other people, and and what it comes down to is making something that you're happy with in the end. But another thing is, there's power in numbers. Find somebody else that is just as passionate about what you're doing as what you're doing, and they will be able to help you. You guys can help each other, escalate to, make a project that's really successful. Another thing is, you don't necessarily need the best equipment. If you're producing audio, you don't need, a $10,000 mixer. People can create, some really awesome stuff with a basic laptop. Up until last year, I was editing my videos on my MacBook that's 6 years old, and it's not even MacBook Pro, it's like a base model, and it was tough, but I was able to create some, really good content that I got a lot of people to see. And, like, if you're able to do anything like going to conventions about what you enjoy, and even like for us, I was out at CES creating video content, and we're like interviewing somebody, and then BBC is waiting for us to get done with our, they're over our shoulder, waiting to do what we're doing. Like you were saying, we're not IGN, but we can go out there and pretend to be. And people like that. You go out there and you dress the part, act the part. And another thing is, like, when you're talking to people and you're interested in them or their product, make sure they know that, because your interest goes a really, really long way with people. And if you're really interested in their product, they're gonna like you. They're gonna give you some, like you were saying, the beta codes and all that. And just go out there and do it and be passionate about what you're doing.
Right. And going off of that, like he was saying, they don't know you're not IGN. Like if you've gone up to people and you say something to the effect of like, hey, I'm Alec from Games Zombie TV, and they've never heard of it, they're gonna treat you like you're IGN. Like, you haven't heard of everything. You just need to act professional, play the part. Like, if I meet people that I don't know, I treat them like they're IGN. They very well could be, because there's companies at some of these conventions that are like, Chinese companies or something that are just as big. We just haven't heard of them because they're not active in our area. So you get treated like you get, 100 million hits a day on your site, and you're the biggest people in the world. So
I remember the Sennheiser interview that we did at CES. we walked up to the lady and told them we were a gaming blog, and she started freaking out because she didn't know anything about gaming blogs or anything, and thought that she was going to like misrepresent her company and stuff.
Yeah.
Like when we were there, everyone's just equal. Like we were waiting in line for Intel's press conference while a writer from Wired was finishing her thing, while a writer at Polygon was at another thing. Like everyone's on an equal playing field. Okay, so we have another question for Andy. I know you do a lot of social media stuff with Game Zombies, so why don't you talk a bit about that? How do you promote yourself, and how do you promote Game Zombie?
Well, I mean, the main thing like with Game Zombie is looking, you know, there's analytic tools, you know, on YouTube and on our site and everything, so you can find out where people are coming from. You just gotta target those things. But I guess more importantly, you know, for any of us or any of you, just promoting yourself is really important online. And you know, you want like a Facebook, a Twitter, and a LinkedIn. I think that's important for anybody for various reasons for each one. But you can pick like another blog or another social media site, but don't pick too many. You know, you can't cover everything and be active on everything all at once. But you know, just update every day, and what you gotta do is post like niche content. Like me, I'm into videography, so I'm posting things about that or other videos that I enjoy, and I'm not posting about what I ate for dinner tonight. You know, try to put yourself out there, you know, as a specific thing, and so people know what you're doing. And like LinkedIn is really important to me. I get people contacting me on there for doing video work every now and again, and like I said, any little bit of work helps right now. And if people respond to your stuff, like I'm on YouTube, like my personal channel has about 1 million views on it, and people comment on a lot of my stuff a lot, but the main thing is responding to those people. You know, just everybody, just make sure you respond to everybody, and you know, that'll go a long way. And when you're networking, like anywhere, even here, you know, refer people to your website or refer them to your Twitter. Like my business card has my Twitter account on it. If you meet somebody, and sometimes you know you want to be that like creepy person that's adding them on Facebook or something, but if you say invite people to do that, that goes a long way, because you know you meet people that you may not remember them. You know, or they may not remember you or remember your name, but you know, if you invite them to, you know, add you, you know, that's somebody that you can network with down the road. That's my advice for, you know, social media.
Yeah, I would say don't be afraid to use Twitter at all. I really like Twitter a lot, and like when you make your content, like we go and we get an interview, like push it out to the people you got with. Like I retweeted a bunch of videos that I edited toward like developers, and they're like, oh, that's really cool to retweet me, and I gained like 10 followers all of a sudden. Like, that's a powerful tool. You should use in frequent and stuff like this.
All right, so this one's for Alec. Obviously, we're at a game developers summit. There's a lot of people who aren't really into gaming journalism. So at a college level, what are some other options?
Yeah, great. So I obviously, like I said, I'm a programming student. Like I'm in school to do like indie games and things like that. Obviously, I love journalism. I love what I do. But obviously, it's not for everybody. Like Jake said, anybody can write, and it's true. You can create opportunities through journalism. But obviously, a lot of you probably don't want to do that. So I was the same way. I go to school at UW-Whitewater, and I wanted to create an opportunity on campus for more people to develop games in our major, because I felt like the school didn't offer enough classes and enough opportunities. So I created an org on campus. It's pretty successful. There's quite a few people in it, and all the people in it are very core. Like everybody who shows up every single week, and they put work into the games. And I didn't even have to. It took about a semester to get into it, for people to start. A lot of people would just show up because they're like, yeah, I like video games, I want to make games. And a lot of people didn't realize the commitment that it takes and the work that it takes and things like that. But people started showing up, and they came and went. And then after about a semester, it became extremely core and like a group of people, and people slowly trickle in and people slowly trickle out as they like graduate. But it's the same main group of people, and they're extremely committed to what you do. So yeah, if you want to do something on your campus, if you want to do something on your level, just create an org, or create a situation in which like you can do that thing. You have to actually do it. And one of the best words of advice I got about this is that you need to surround yourself by people who motivate you. Like other people who are interested, you need to like seek those out, find those people, and get them to be doing the same thing as you. So if you have absolutely like want to make games or want to do journalism, or want to start a sports team, whatever. Obviously, we're here at a game summit, so it's whatever. But you need to find people that are also motivated to do that, and then like create a situation in which it has to be done, or an opportunity in which it gets to be done. So
yeah, I can't stress how like easy like student orgs and stuff are to make and like run. Like I'm an idiot, and I run like a League of Legends club on like
these are
campus.
talent, so
Yeah, exactly.
we literally have them for a face.
I mean, if I can do it, like there's nothing stopping you guys from doing it. So go out and do it.
Absolutely.
All right, we got one more question, and then we'll open the floor. For Andrew, I know you're graduating in a couple months, so how are you going to continue this opportunity?
I'm making my own website. I made a website called Indie Game Insider, and all we're focusing on is indie games. So I took contacts that I have from going to these conventions, and I'm emailing them. Like I said, we got Monaco. We're doing something with Star Drive. They're sending us a game, and a bunch of other contacts that we built up. We're gonna try to like do this on our own. So, and some of you guys are helping me with it. So I'm just gonna take it like outside of school and try to work on it. Just do what you want to do. I mean, like I love video games, so I want to do a video game website. So I'm gonna go do a video game website.
It's to create an opportunity to like continue what we're doing when we graduate, because we absolutely love what we're doing, and we absolutely love the opportunities it creates, and we want to continue that. So like, obviously, Game Zombies aren't going to come with us when we graduate, and we're not going to stick around in Whitewater, Wisconsin to make it happen. So we wanted to create an opportunity for ourselves to keep it going, and keep something like that going. So we just started something. But if it fails, it fails. Which it's not gonna. I mean, but if it fails, it fails. But like, you have to fail to succeed.
The hardest part was coming up with the name.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was the trip back from Boston. All like 20 hours of us just like driving and trying to think of it.
Yeah, like I was just gonna say, like Flip Fly was here, and they have Race to the Sun. Race to the Sun.
Yeah,
right?
Race to the Sun.
Yeah. So, but we talked about it, and like we were like, hey, we're doing an indie game website, and I was like, can I review your game? And he's like, yeah, sure. So we emailed them, retweeted at them. They said our website looks cool. They're gonna retweet us, and they're gonna send us a review.
Yeah, you have to help the small people that help you. That's so big. Not that they're small, because they have a successful Kickstarter. They're doing awesome. They have a huge cult following in Congregate. They're pretty big, but they're approachable. That's actually that's what I meant by small, I guess. Like approachable people. Get to them and get them to like help you, and you help them. So
It's a mutual relationship. Like as indie developers, you're making small games or even backyard games, and all these people that have been here, most of them are pretty small too. They're nice people. I mean, if you want information, if you want tips, it's very easy to go up to someone and approach them and ask them questions, figure out where they started, how they got where they are. You can use that knowledge to better yourself. So I think it's important, no matter if you're doing journalism, making a website, making games, just network with people on your level, maybe a little bit above you, get an opinion or a view you haven't seen before, and use it.
yeah, absolutely. And everybody has a different story. So like, use that as your advice. Like you can hear how everybody made it, how everybody did. But the thing is, like, this is the first year that this convention's gone on, and it was a success. This is cool. And ideally next year it will be twice as big, and we'll show up again, and the people here will, recognize us or something, and that'll help us out type of thing. So you just have to keep with it and keep meeting people, keep networking, just keep going, don't stop.
Keep on, keep on.
Yeah, that's it. Something like that.
All right, well, if anyone has any questions, we'll open up.
Nothing.
When can we leave is probably one of
That's probably the thing. That's cool.
All right, well, thanks everyone for coming. Hope you had a good time. We'll stick around after if you want to ask us anything. And thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.